His father begged his son to fight for his life. "You will be an engineer," Milutin told him. "Do you hear me? You will go to the best engineering school in the world and you will be a great engineer." Nikola knew his father meant what he said, and was that to look forward to. He started getting better almost immediately. Less than a week later, he was sitting up in bed. Less than a week after that, he was walking around. He soon recovered, then spent the next year getting stronger. In September 1875, when he was 19, Nikola traveled to Graz, Austria, more than 200 miles from his home. He began his studies in engineering at Polytechnic Institute, now known as Graz University of Technology. Chapter 4: School Days. Nikola, as always, worked tirelessly at Polytechnic Institute. On a typical day, he woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He didn't go to bed until 11 o'clock at night, 20 hours later. Even then, he didn't go right to sleep, but read until he nodded off. Throughout his entire life, Nikola claimed that he slept only about 2 to 3 hours a night. Nikola needed all those waking hours. In his first year at the university, he took 9 courses, 4 more than was normal. He studied math, physics, botany, chemistry, and several languages. He never missed a lecture, got the highest grades possible in all of his classes, and even started a school club on Serbian culture. His teachers worried that he was going to overwork himself. One of his professors wrote to Milutin back in Gospic, saying, "Your son is a star of the first rank," but making it clear that Nikola was endangering his health by working too much and sleeping too little. In his second year at Polytechnic Institute, Nikola concentrated on engineering, limiting his classes to physics, mechanics, and math. On his own time, he studied machines such as dynamos, which produce electricity, and motors, which produce motion or power. Early in Nikola's second year, a machine arrived at the university from Paris. Nikola's professor demonstrated it to the class. The machine forced an electrical current to move in only one direction, called direct current, DC. Nikola argued that it would be better to let the current flow back and forth because direct current loses more and more power to farther away its gas from its source. A back and forth current could keep its same level of power throughout the system. This was called alternating current, AC. It was nothing new, but no one had yet figured out how to make alternating current power a motor. AC, DC. Current is the flow of an electric charge through a wire. In a direct current, DC, The charge moves in only one direction. In an alternating current AC, the charge reverses direction, traveling back and forth across the wire. This is important because the voltage, the intensity of the electrical current of alternating currents can be controlled and regulated by a transformer. The voltage stays the same in direct current, but only over a short distance. Alternating current, then, is more useful. A transformer can take a less intense AC current and turn it into a high voltage current to travel a long distance. At the end of that distance, a transformer can turn the high voltage current back into a low voltage current for safe use in homes and businesses. Nicola's professor devoted an entire lecture to why Nicola's theory could not work. Mr. Tesla will accomplish great things, but he certainly never will do this, he said, speaking about the superiority of DC. At first, Nikola figured that he must be wrong because the professor had to know more about machines than he did. But the more he thought about it, the more he believed that he was right. I could not demonstrate my belief at that time, he said, but it came to me through what I might call instinct. Once again, Nikola was smart enough to see things that others couldn't. Nikola began building complete machines in his mind. He imagined every nut, bolt, coil, and brush. The images I saw were perfectly real, he said. He worked on his theory the rest of his second year at the university, but he could not make it work. He became frustrated. In his third year at Polytechnic Institute, Nikola started regularly attending his lectures. Then he dropped out of school. In 1879, Milutin died at age 60. Nikola knew that his father had wanted him to finish school, but he needed to work to help support his mother. He decided that he wouldn't go back to school, and Nikola never earned a college degree. Chapter 5: Coming to America. Nikola immediately began looking for work. His uncle Pedro told him about a friend in Budapest, Hungary. The friend, Uncle Pedro said, was building a telephone exchange. In the early days of the telephone, callers were connected to each other by an operator. The operator pushed the electrical cords into slots on the board to make the connection. The machine was called a switchboard. A whole network of switchboards made up a telephone exchange.